Good morning. This is Reg George reporting for Washington Council of the Blind, and it is time to make some coffee. So you get to hear a singer from a band I used to play with in the background, and my refrigerator. So if you hear that, I apologize. This is a good time to put the headphones on because we're going to fire up the Keurig K-Duo Plus Coffeemaker Extraordinaire. And then I will try to give you a physical description as the coffee is getting ready. It's only me that drinks coffee in this household, so we're just going to do a pod. We're using binaural microphones on a set of headphones that are wrapped around the machine so that you can get an intimate portrait of its actual workings, because it's a little strange, and if you haven't used one of these before, I think it's important to know how they sound and that you don't need to be able to see to operate this machine. So when you hit the power, there's no beep or anything, but it's pretty easy to tell because you get this clunk. There it goes. Now, I haven't taken the old K-Cup out, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to grab one that I got from Amazon. It's by Casa Trail. It's a medium roast Colombian. I put the pod in the top of the machine and shut the lid, and you can probably hear the water is already starting to boil. Now I'll go ahead and start the process here. Down at 6 o'clock I have the button for pod, so I'll press that. I'll press the one right next to it for a 12-ounce cup. I'll press the button over on the right to make it a strong brew. And now I'll hit the K in the middle of the dial, if you've read my review. And that's how you start the brewing process. And while it's getting ready, I'm going to take my coffee cup and go over here to some beautiful bottles of sugar-free syrup that I have. I think these are the Jordan Skinny Syrups, and this is the mocha. I've got a pump on it, so I'll just do 2 squirts of the mocha. Oh, I know that it's going to be coming soon. I've got the cup back under here, but nothing started coming out of the machine yet. On the old Keurig machines, you would leave them on all the time, and there it goes. So it's pouring into the cup now. But on this one, you don't have to put a pod in. It will still make water on demand for you for soup or hot chocolate, or if you want to throw in a tea bag. That's really nice. One of my favorite features on this is you have the reservoir on the left-hand side that you can fill up with water. Sometimes I'll fill it with a pitcher, but this is the first Keurig I've seen that has a great big handle all the way down the front of the reservoir. It's taking a little longer than it normally would to fill the cup because I choose strong brew, which means that it pours over the grounds in the pot a little bit more slowly. Oh yeah, that's the best part. I had to just be quiet and let that happen. Now it's pulling more water in from the 60-ounce reservoir into the tank so as to be ready for the next cup. And it will shut off automatically after 5 minutes. So let's talk about this a little bit more here before we wrap this up. All right. I want to mention again this coffee that I made, Cause Trail, that you can buy on Amazon. It's about $33 a 100, or even I think I've seen it as cheap as $29. That's about 30 cents a cup. That's not bad. And it's an extra bold, which means that there's a third more coffee in each pod than in the normal pods for those of us that like strong coffee. And because I like to make a larger cup, having the extra bold pods is important. So at the back of the machine, on the top is the lid where you place the pod. It's very compact. The whole thing is maybe 10 inches wide or so. Maybe less than that. The drip tray is right in the middle, but there are two spouts in front of each other that one is for the pot and one is for making pods. Directly in front of the pod bay door are the two buttons on the left and two buttons on the right, and they are behind the dial, which is in the middle, that has the big K in the middle. Down at 6 o'clock, you've got a large pod button, and at about 7 o'clock, you have a large button for brewing a pot. And then if you go counterclockwise to the right around 3 o'clock, you've got 12, 10, 8, and 6 ounces, or cups if you're using the big round stainless steel pot. On the left side of the machine right now, I have the reservoir. I don't know if I explained that very well. You would have to take the reservoir off and move the platform around to put it on the other side or behind the machine. But there are 3 different places where that platform can go. There's no assembly required. You just turn it till it kind of clicks in place, and then you set the reservoir there. And that way, if you have it on a counter where your cabinetry is on the left or on the right, or your sink is on the left or the right, it doesn't matter because you're all set. You just fill it up and put it on there and go. So the buttons on the left side of the machine, we're not talking about the dial now, we're talking about the 2 buttons on the left. On the back one is auto. That's how you would start the timer. The front are 2 little buttons right next to each other that are hour and minute for setting the time or for setting the timer. I don't use the timer. I mean, I could because I've got it set for 6 a.m. right now, and if I hit that auto button, it starts flashing, and you can set your cup size, your pot size and everything, and then just hit the brew button, and then when it will come on in the morning. So the sequence for that would be you'd hit the power on the right hand side to set it up, and then you'd hit the auto button, and then you would choose if you want a full pot and hit the brew button, and then just it would be ready to go, and it would, when you came back in the morning, your coffee would be ready. But if you need to change the time, you have to remember where you've set it, because it's not going to start at midnight. It's going to start at whatever time you had it set to last. The only way around that would be to unplug it and reset the clock from midnight, and that you can do accessibly just by counting the hours and minutes to the current time. But it's a pain, so why would we do that? I just make it when I need it. So on the right hand side, you've got a round power button and an oval button directly underneath it for strong brew or regular brew. Doesn't matter where in the process you press that button, it's going to light up. And then you have the dial that I've already described with the different sizes. So you just choose cup or pot at the bottom and pick your size, hit the brew button. But before you hit that brew button, decide if you want it strong and hit that button. And that is pretty much how this thing works. And I don't want my coffee to get cold. It's filled my kitchen with the aroma of fresh, delicious Colombian Arabica beans. Pretty good stuff, Maynard.